Nonetheless, Geno talked about Caitlin Clark again and sort of gave some backhanded compliments. Like, he talked about how she connects to the audience, which was good. He talked about how she's tough, like Paige Beckers. He threw Paige in there.
Geno Auriemma, the titan of UConn coaching, loses millions of dollars and goes insane after Caitlin Clark rejects him. While Caitlin Clark turns Iowa into a basketball powerhouse, he first turned her down, claiming she lacked the skill set required for the WNBA. Geno is left questioning why he didn't just pass on a player. Rather, he missed the chance to create history, and no amount of money can undo that.
She talks a lot of shit on the court, all right? Believe me. You know, when people talk about in WNBA, why are these people beating up Caitlin Clark? Because she talks a lot of shit on the court.
In a podcast, Geno went all out, disparaging Clark with flimsy taunts and giving a few tentative compliments instead of taking responsibility. This kind of egotistical conduct reminds us that even legends may evolve.
Going out of his way to, first he's like saying she connects to people, and he could have left it at that, I guess. But he almost goes on to put the, reverse some of that discourse, try to put it in others' laps because of Caitlin Clark's track.
The worst part is that, without UConn's or Geno's permission, Clark is rewriting history while living rent-free in Geno's mind. Geno lost millions of dollars in revenue, respect, and prestige in addition to losing a player.
She's fearless. She just plays. She just is like a little kid in a driveway playing with her friends. So, yeah, she's unique in that way. But in terms of what she's doing, people have short memory. Yeah, I've seen it.
Auriemma went on to discuss Clark's bravery, which is what sets her apart in the modern basketball landscape. He clarified that a lot of players nowadays hesitate out of concern for the consequences of making a bad decision or missing a shot. Due to continual criticism on social media, blame games, and other platforms, many sportsmen have grown wary and reluctant to take risks that could endanger their team or their reputation. Auriemma, however, kept the discussion on track by recognizing her distinct style and indisputable talent. Because he had witnessed brilliance before, either from the best seat in the house or the sidelines of his own team, he remarked in a knowing tone that he was going to declare Clark the greatest player of all time.
It was the beginning of the conversation.
The women's game. So I think sometimes people get confused over the last 18 months, maybe over 2 years, that they think it was a rocket, that you all jumped on Caitlin Clark's back and went straight up. But you've been there at the beginning of the ride.
Geno was compelled to mention Paige Buers as well. Geno Clark asserts that Clark and Buers are equally tenacious. Therefore, when talking about the person who didn't pick me, let's not overlook my star player. Geno's biggest mistake was underestimating Clark's value. Clark, however, is a distinct species. Auriemma emphasized her fearlessness by likening her style to a kid playing hoops in the driveway for joy. She doesn't overthink things or let concern about failing get the better of her. Rather, she simply plays, which is something Auriemma thinks is more uncommon in modern basketball.
We send them up to the WNBA, and then they have something good to work with, and it just keeps growing and growing and growing. So it still comes back to those of us that are in charge of the game. Are we making the game better every day? Are we making our players better every day?
Finally, Geno minimized Caitlin Clark's role in the development of the sport when questioned about her amazing performances. Although he acknowledged her effect, he presented it as a natural progression since, heaven forbid, he would admit that Clark's rise is the reason why women's basketball is today flourishing. Geno Auriemma tackled the query with a blend of respect and practicality. He admitted that she was accomplishing incredible feats. However, it's important to remember that I have already observed such magnificence. Auriemma used an example from his own coaching career, where he oversaw a team that contained 2 rookies and 2 players who had never started a game before, to bolster his argument. In addition to competing, that team took home a national title. Although it wasn't a one-player show, the composure and contributions of those players were groundbreaking in and of itself.
Geno Auriemma could be the reason why Caitlin Clark is definitely not joining the unrivaled 3-on-3 basketball league. We finna unpack it all, right?
Geno Auriemma is a full-time expert at voicing his opinions, a great coach, and a part-time entrepreneur. It appears that Caitlin Clark has no interest in participating in his brand-new, unrivaled 3-on-1 basketball league. Let's begin by keeping in mind that this league was intended to be a groundbreaking endeavor with significant backers, lofty goals, and an even more spectacular January debut. Fans wanted to witness the college sensation, Caitlin Clark, grace its courts, which is why everyone was talking about it. But actually, Geno and the league are vying for star power because Clark has no interest in it and is ignoring this train entirely.
Chill, man. But that is not the case. Many people want Caitlin Clark to join this league to possibly, play basketball, be more entertainment for her. But now many Caitlin Clark fans took to Twitter to actually poke fun at Geno Auriemma. Let's pull up some.
Now, why would Clark turn down this incredible opportunity? Now let's revisit Geno's most memorable Dan Patrick Show public relations moment. Auriemma wisely referred to Clark's fan group as deluded for having the audacity to believe that she could rule the WNBA. He added that she lacks the physicality necessary to be successful in the league. He also made jokes about how stupid these people were for marketing her as the next Diana Taurasi brilliant tactic, as if that weren't enough. Geno disparaged the most popular player in women's basketball as well as her fierce fans.
She doesn't need to play for that whack job. She should just buy a rival league. Exactly. Kayla gets that type of bag. CC probably isn't this vindictive, but if it was me, if they wanted me outside, I'll demand a full retraction and apology from Geno for his comments on the Dan Patrick.
Twitter serves as a battlefield for sarcasm and mocking. Why would Caitlin agree to perform for someone who doesn't think she can handle being touched? The fact that Geno is more than simply a remote consultant in this league doesn't help either. His link is now seen as a serious red flag, and he is a co-owner. She should simply purchase the league and call it unrivaled genius, according to one admirer. Oh. In the absence of Clark, the league's big January launch is looking more like a belly flop. There is more to Clark's resolve to avoid this league than merely maintaining his reputation. It's a clear middle finger to what Geno said. She doesn't need his league, and she most definitely doesn't need to cope with the criticism that comes from endorsing someone who downplayed her abilities in front of the entire country. Geno probably thought he was untouchable, but now his remarks are haunting him with empty seats and dwindling for someone who is proud of his decades-long career. It's incredible how fast a few harsh comments might ruin his own reputation. For instance, Geno labeled Clark supporters foolish and naive for daring to believe that she could rule the WNBA during his appearance on the Dan Patrick Show. He didn't stop there, though. Geno also included some expert analysis, claiming that Clark would struggle to meet the league's physical requirements because he lacked the necessary physique. Indeed, Geno. Because it's a wise business move to disparage the most marketable female basketball star.
Other things to do. Why does he want a player he doesn't think has the physicality?
He doesn't believe the player has the physicality to make things worse, so why does he want them? Geno's own words are being thrown back at him, he said. Another WNBA emerging star, Paige Buers, admitted that her style might be more applicable than Caitlin's. Let's be honest, though, this has little to do with fitness or skill sets. Instead, Geno is worried about why no one wants to play ball with him after twice hurting himself. Without Clark, the league's future appears to be as stable as a house of cards after a hurricane. They do have some well-known players, such as Angel Reese, but let's not act as though she can lead the league by herself.
And you're a great college player, like Caitlin was, the delusional fan base that follows her disrespected the WNBA players by saying she's going to go in that league and tear it apart. There were actually odds on she's third or fourth in betting odds on being MVP at the WNBA.
Lately, Geno Auriemma hasn't been having fun. Geno is upset that, depending on who you ask, Caitlin Clark, the collegiate basketball equivalent of the Golden Child, rejected either his idea or his league as a whole. It goes beyond basketball. It concerns the millions of dollars he could have earned had Clark lived up to the ludicrous expectations placed on her. Fans hailed her as the league's salvation and were placing bets on her to win MVP before she had ever dribbled on a professional court. Naturally, Geno viewed this as an incredible opportunity to establish himself as the league's new face, get a ton of endorsements, and, let's be honest, build his own brand. Reality, however, had different plans.
How do you think Clark is handling this?
I think she's handling great. I think she talks a lot and she gets a lot of back. So she deserves everything she gets because she gives it as good as
Geno is now venting about unsuspecting admirers who are exaggerating Clark to unthinkable levels. He claims that because the WNBA players felt disrespected when she dominated them on the first day, they are targeting her both on and off the court. Not to mention that the entire system was not designed for this thing scenario. GU is seeing Clark's debut season's millions of dollars evaporate faster than her opponents can double-team her. Geno says that Clark isn't tough or fast enough to handle the roughness of the WNBA. but this seems more like a tactful way of stating that she's making me look awful than a means to recognize her as the next Diana Taurasi. Partnerships, legacy building, and branding are all vanishing. When Pi G. Beckers declared that she would remain in college, Geno's feelings of pride and anxiety were evident. He is aware that when she eventually joins the league, she will have to deal with the same harsh reality, which can further hurt his financially. Geno is forced to argue that he is not to blame for the hype. Geno couldn't help but roll his eyes at the addition of a brilliant man named Clark the White Larry Bird. He took issue with society's fixation on poor comparisons, but he didn't seem too outraged when they complimented his narrative. Warmth. Heat. Hello.